Today is our full moon, and here is our chart for today. I'm so excited about it. This is a whole sign chart, and it is in Western astrology, and the timing is on the west. Except this is not the exact time right now. Anyways, this is when the moon in my area is going to become the peak of the full moon. And let's look at this, right? So, when we're looking at this full moon, let's look at the fact that it's over here in the 11th house. And when we're looking at the 11th house, let's consider the fact that that is all about our circle of influence, our network, our friends, our social groups, all of these like social activities, group activities. So, depending on how this shows up in your chart, will depend on really what's going on specifically with you. What I'm giving you today is the generalization of what is going on. And so if you do want, you can always set up a time and get your own personalized chart done and, figure out exactly what this looks like for you. Anyhow, so that being said, when we look at this moon, it is again in the 11th house, it's in Pisces. And so Pisces is all about that expansion, that deepness, that, it used to be like considered like spiritual and all these other things. But the reality is Pisces is about cognitions. It's about consciousness. And so your awareness is at a peak, right? So when I'm looking at this, we've got Pisces here at 26 degrees. It's peaking out. Imagine yourself in the depths of the deepest part of the ocean, and it's just so quiet, right? There's no light, there's no sound, there's maybe some like nuances, some strange things, right? Like when you think about Pisces, think about that. It's going really, really deep. Now, this being in the 11th house, this is going to show up a couple different ways for people. One, they're going to start having these deep conversations, or they're going through a deep experience themselves and on their consciousness level and their retraction, these bigger ideas. Some of these bigger ideas are coming from this Neptune. So you've got Neptune as well, that is right here, and it's at 28 degrees. So when we've got two planets that are this close together, especially with the moon here, they're kind of in this spot where they're like commingling. And so when you look at it, the moon in this case is louder. We teach that in the astrology class of how that happens. But don't ignore this retrograde Neptune. Retrograde Neptune is like walking around with rose-colored glasses on. So right now, things in your 11th house, things around your social group, people you're around with, those things are coming in and showing up in a different way. And it is with rose-colored glasses on, which means that everything is going to be fine. Everything is bliss. Everything is wonderful. And when that retrograde goes away, your glasses come off and you can see clearly. So when you're going through and cognizing with this moon and processing, think about that. You're getting filtered information. And so consider that when you're going through this phase. Now, what I'd like to point out too is that this moon is not aspecting. However, the Neptune, who is influencing heavily, is aspecting. And it's aspecting quite a bit. When we look down over here, we've got our sun, which is all about our identity and it's about our home. And this energy is coming out different for different people. But for me, I'm in the process of getting ready to move all my books because I'm tired of having a bookshelf in my background, right? And I'm like looking at this bathroom I ripped apart a couple years ago and putting it back together. So there's different things that like for me, my identity is a part of my home, right? And this is where I am all the time. So happily. And so some things in my home with that Virgo energy are getting tidied up. They're getting completed. They're getting finished. They're getting organized. This is a great time to take some of that new moon energy. Now, in the full moons, we always know it's getting rid of the old, right? It's kind of like a washing, a cleansing, a release, and letting go of this energy. So when we're looking at this, you have this energy of communicating, but tidying up and also taking care of some things and making sure that things are organized and set up. You're being a little critical right now. And then at the same time, you've got these feelings around deeper subjects, deeper conditioning, deeper patterns, deeper understanding of humanity as a whole and all these other experiences, right? And then you've got Neptune in there that has these rose-colored glasses on. It's like so ideal for everything that's going on in the world right now. And then that was super sarcastic if you didn't know. So right now with this Neptune being this way too, you're going to have some like really unique ideas that are going to come out of this process here. Now, again, we have a couple aspects that are coming up within the ninth house. We have some aspects coming up in the first house. The first house is still about some of our identity. Up in our ninth house, this is about expansion of our learning and how we're seeing ourselves. And this is all coming because of the Pluto and midheaven here. So this is all coming from this area of like, who am I? Right? Consciousness is at a peak in this full moon. So take the time, dive deep into this moon, understand how it's impacting your identity and how you're showing up consistently. That Taurus is telling us to be consistent, right? And if it's not matching societal's constraints and patterns, oh well, show up you and stick with it. Dig in your heels. You got that Taurus energy. And at the same time, be gentle with yourself while you're going through this critical evaluation of your environment and your actual home. And then at the same time, embrace that expansion. You've got this Pluto energy in here as well. That is a part of peeling back, looking for the truth, seeking the truth of answers that you are cognizing. So this is a really deep time. I'm here for it, like super here for it. And I think that this is just super great. So I'm glad that this is happening, but this is right up my alley, right? I'm like, oh, this is the stuff I'm interested in. So anyways, if you have any questions, reach out. Enjoy the full moon. Don't forget to release. If you've got crystals, put them out. If you do moon water, put it out. If you're tidying up for the season, because we're in September. So for a lot of us, this is like harvesting, taking care of things outside, buttoning up for the winter, right? Take care of those things because we're going to have a different energy coming in October. So keep an eye out for that. Enjoy the experience. You know, you can set up an appointment with me if you need to. And at the same time, look at your own chart, see where this moon is showing up for you, and put these together of like, this is the experience of the world outside me. And this is my own personal experience that I'm coming into, right? We've had this energy for 5 days. We're going to have this energy for another 5 days. Have a lovely evening.